Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we were using 70.75 to 72.75 as overnight support, which ended up holding to the tick and resulted in a move back up towards the prior VPOC at 78.5 and back up towards yesterday's high. At this point, we've already gotten a new high yesterday, and today we're going to be seeing whether there's enough strength in the market to have some follow through and make another all-time high. On the econ calendar, it's pretty quiet. No major econ reports scheduled for today. And then we have Facebook earnings after the close. So because of that, today could be another day where we make a marginal high, but it's not like a big uptrend day. At the same time, because of the lack of economic reports, we could also just continue being stuck in a balanced type environment. That is something that we're going to have to figure out and determine after the market opens. Because after yesterday's new all-time high, if we can now hold above 75 to 76.5, then there is potential to make a swing up to this 85 to 87 area. And we also have to keep in mind that now the all-time high is 80.5, so anything above 80.5 is really going to be based on volume and volatility. There is no hard resistance above the all-time high, so there's nothing really stopping the market at 85 to 87. It's just that given the recent ranges and given the level of volatility we're currently seeing in the market, it's pretty likely that we'll get some sort of stall at 85 to 87 in the event that we break out. And then 90 to 92 can actually shut off the buying, and that could be an area where you're just exhausting the short-term range. So as far as the day time frame today, we're going to be watching how the market reacts on any pullback to 75 to 76.5. We're going to watch how it reacts to 78.5 and just determine whether there's enough strength in the market internals and just the other markets as well to see if there's enough strength to make yet another new high today. And if there isn't, then it means that we still have to be conservative and be cautious of trade location and buying and entering long at these upper prices. Because if it turns out to be kind of a mediocre or balanced type session, and we break 75 to 76.5, then we can quite easily pull back to 69.5 to 71.5, which is an area where buyers can still be active. And in the event of a more extended pullback, the market can test 65.75 to 67.75, which is another important inflection point. And that's an area that can shut off the selling and then push the market back up towards the 74.75 area again. So off the open, it's just going to be about how strong the market really is. Are the internals really strong? Are they, trending higher and indicating that we're going to make a new high? If so, there could be a long setup off the open, looking for a new high, but that's something that's a bit more advanced, and it does require a real-time read to really just gauge the level of strength in this market. NQ made a new high on the year overnight, so far, the buy side is holding up okay, but a small pullback could quite as easily be in play here. So, keep an eye on 75 to 76.5 off the open. That's a very short-term support zone, but it's an overnight breakout area. And if we hold above it, then there's potential for a new high. If we break below it, then the market will most likely simply balance in a range. And, at that point, it can pull back to initial support, bounce over there, and then balance in this range, or put in a deeper pullback down to 65.75 to 67.75 and then start balancing. But given that there's no major catalyst that can really drive the market much lower, it's unlikely that we're going to get a complete all-out failure. So we're not looking to be aggressive on the short side either over here because of that. And the only time it makes sense to get aggressive on the short side is when there are some very clear signs that this is setting up to be a failed breakout attempt. Where the internals are just very negative and getting worse. The NYC tick is holding below zero, and the price action itself is telling you that there's not enough upside potential. Then we can consider some short trades, but by default, we know that buyers are in control, and we'd rather focus more on conservative long setups rather than try to nail a top at the all-time highs, where it's quite easy for the market to just push and make a new high even today, even without any major catalyst. And then tomorrow we have a lot of econ reports, so tomorrow we could get some directional conviction, some continuation. So those are our main ideas today. Focus is still going to be on more on the long side, but just more cautious at these upper prices off the open because it is an aggressive spot to get in. And the conservative long setups are going to be on pullbacks into support. But if the market is truly strong, then we should not break 75 to 76.5, and a break below that would be an indication of short-term weakness. So at 69.5 to 71.5, it's kind of a defensive idea where you take it, and if it doesn't start working relatively quickly, perhaps look for the next zone. So that's something that we'll have to gauge in real time to get an idea of. But overall, focus is still buy side. Buyers are still in pretty firm control here. Looking at the other markets, things are looking all right there as well. With TF, if we can at this point hold above 55 to 56, then the major upside objective in TF right now, at least in the short term, is going to be the high volume node at 1169. And if the other markets hold up well, then TF can certainly make a push up to 1169 on the day time frame today. We've seen it before where once TF starts catching up, it actually catches up pretty quickly. So we are going to be watching that market as well to see if the strength that we're seeing short term is in TF as well, and if we get some continuation on the upside in the Russell. Because if we start seeing some failure in TF and TF starts putting in a deeper pullback, that'll be another sign to be cautious in the S&P. So those are the main thoughts heading into the open. Let's see how well the buy side holds it up and take it from there.